Open beta has come to an end for D4, concluding 2 weeks of consecutive beta testing. And now the burning question on everyone's mind is, will Diablo 4 be good? I don't know. Tonight's my monthly shower, alright? So let's make this quick. Also, you don't want to be scrubbing at 1.5 times speed through a 1 hour long review, so let's get going. Follow my Twitch, you animals! I played the beta for a combined total of over 90 hours, trying various builds on every class and exploring every inch of the available zone in Act 1, so you can rest easy knowing that I'm a certified Diablo 4 professional. Also, I'll get the disclaimer out of the way now, which applies to the whole video. This was beta. You can only do 1 act, and you can only go up to level 25. Tons of things were unavailable, and various things can change. All we can do is extrapolate based on what we saw, what has been data mined or leaked, and similarities to past Diablo entries, so please, put down the pitchforks and the torches. Alright, let's talk about the good stuff first. The visuals in this game absolutely blow away any ARPG to date, so when I get around to firing up Wolcen again, which is never, I'll be able to really appreciate the level of detail in Diablo 4. It's got dynamic lighting, nice meaty visuals, impactful sounds. The environment is very immersive and varied. Spell effects are legit AF. Your character leaves trails in the snow. Yes, the game is indeed a spectacle and quite polished. Combat is tight. It's meaningful, visuals are on point, controls are responsive, all spells and attacks have a lot of heft and value behind them. You very much resonate with a meaty hit from a two-handed barb, or lighting up the entire screen with a sorceress's chain lightning, or boldly smashing many enemies as a werebear and never ever running away for your life. Usually. When you press a button, it feels damn good. Man, I dig the open world. There's monsters usually everywhere, there's small world events constantly popping up, you see other players here and there saying hello, tons of stuff to find and collect for completionists like the Lilith statues, collect herbs and ore, finish some side quests, the environment looks amazing, and you can even leave trails in the snow. Yeah, it's a bad boy.
Yeah, boy.
Grab 11 of your closest strangers and watch the camera zoom out on a massive world boss that you have 15 minutes to safely run around circles in as arranged while the melee fight for their lives. But really, if you played well, you were fine. Man, imagine dying on a barb on hardcore, man. That is just embarrassing. While this system can raise some issues, like why are these mooching f***s allowed to access and take a spot against this high-level boss, or why didn't I roll a ranged class, it was still a fun time, and I can't wait to see the other bosses. It's not Diablo 3. Rogues can snipe from a distance or shred enemies up close. Then necromancers control the undead and delete screens of enemies. Barbarians farm this guy for 10 hours, min-max their gear all weekend, and then hit things really hard. Sorcerers can do insane damage both single target and AoE, teleport as far as your cursor can reach, put up unbreakable barrier absorb, spec into the only known cheat death, spec into an immune on a 20-second cooldown that breaks CC, clear waves of enemies with ease, shoot the world boss safely off screen, destroy. Finally, the Crusader, iconic holy warrior standing strong against the armies of hell, throwing shields and hammers in every possible direction, consecrating enemies with ease. Will not be included in Diablo 4 on launch, of course, but will be included in the $250 DLC later this year. Instead, you get druids. The mid. Gearing's about as interesting as the item drop names, bland and generic. There's overarching modifiers that will generally fit one of a few builds you will try, or just have expected survival things like, is there an enemy close to you? Well, you can hit it harder. Is there an enemy far? Well, you can hit it harder instead, and it comes with the added fun of guessing where the breakpoint of close and distant lies. Minimal amounts of stat gain are included as well to not make you overstress your remaining brain cell. Now, plus X to skills modifiers are more fun, as are some of the legendary effects, but overall the pool of modifiers seems limited and tame. Oh, and there's also sockets on some pieces of gear so you can witness the most inapplicable catalog of weapon gems ever to exist. But I'm totally sure there will be plenty more modifiers in the endgame, hopefully. Right? Crafting is basically the same as Diablo 3 with some small changes. Nothing innovative has been done at all. All crafting is fueled by gold and materials you get out into the world as drops. Choose one modifier and re-roll it until you're bankrupt. Upgrade, socket, and remove gems. Upgrade gear for incremental gains. Extract legendary attributes and slap them on a new piece of gear, whether it be another legendary or a rare base. This system is probably the most interesting part of crafting so far, but it is still the equivalent of ordering salad at a steakhouse. Dungeons are incredible. Most are visually varied and look great. Usually you complete some small tasks and kill a final boss. To spice things up, sometimes the dungeon doesn't even have a final boss, and if you're lucky, you can even get close to the end of the dungeon before realizing you left an objective all the way at the start, which you need to auto-run back to and then retrieve before returning back to the end again. When you're done, you travel to another dungeon where you kill or interact with 1 to 3 things and sometimes kill a boss. When you're done, you travel to another dungeon where you kill or interact with 1 to 3 things and sometimes kill a boss. When you're done, you travel to another dungeon where you kill or interact with 1 to 3 things and sometimes kill. Also, the butcher can randomly show up. Yeah, little bitch, take that. Complexity, depth, variety. These are words that don't apply to skill trees in Diablo 4. Based on what we've seen, skill trees are fairly shallow. They're essentially Diablo 3 skills with 3 less rune choices, plus the passive skills split into 3 pointers, all put in tree form. And one major irritation with the tree comes from needing a certain amount of points before you can move down. If you need to respec, you gotta remove late points at the bottom in order to be able to move points in the upper part of the tree, and then you can put your final points back in. Now, respecking is free until level 15 and starts to ramp up in gold afterwards, so in beta it was fine, but if you're in a high level situation, this could be quite expensive. A big part of build variety and depth is still in question due to not much being known about the endgame Paragon system and the unique items that modify abilities later in the game. There. I said the disclaimer again. Now you can't get mad. Now it's time for the bad. The UI is not good. Everything is very mobile looking, it's big, there's wasted space, you need to scroll down for some item effects, you need to double menu to even get to your detailed stats screen, short buffs are tracked on ability icons, buffs are tracked above abilities, debuffs are barely tracked at all, barely tracked debuffs are in the buff bar, buffs don't have timers, combo points for rogues are down here as to help you die in a circle while tracking them, gems take up as much space as two-handed weapon, and what's the deal with... Oh my god. I did it. I hit level 20 on beta. The Wolfpack pup is mine. All of a sudden, there is nothing that can possibly upset me about this game. It is perfect in every way, and thank you, Blizzard, for this distraction and for taking my money. For a company that once prided itself on pushing new frontiers, I've never seen so many expected quality of life additions left out of an ARPG. There's no transparent map overlay. There's no options for an HP bar above your character. Oh hey look, combo points can go here, oh my god. There's no HP and resource number option overlay. There's no ability to track more than one quest even though the game has moved in a more MMO direction. Like, really? There's no ability to rebind left click as interact and force move as well. And there's more, but in the spirit of keeping this short, let's move on and hope that they can add some of these in the next 2.5 months before launch. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Sloot, it's only beta. Imagine commenting on class balance right now. Well, you shut your mouth when you talk to me. Okay, but jokes aside, not everyone wants to play something that feels like ass just because in 50 hours it's going to be OP at endgame. Some people don't mind it, but some do. They don't need to perfectly balance classes during leveling at all, but that doesn't mean that they need to feel bad during it either. Straight up, some abilities and classes were just undertuned in some areas and it wasn't very fun, man. In ancient Greek theater, the origin of Western drama, the conventional 3-actor rule was preceded by a 2-actor rule, which was itself preceded by a convention in which only a single actor would appear on stage, along with the chorus. The origin of the monologue, as a dramatic device therefore, is not rooted in dialogue. It is instead the other way around. Dialogue evolved from the monologue. Ancient Roman theater featured monologues extensively, more commonly than either ancient Greek theater or modern theater. One of the key purposes of the monologues was to indicate the passage of significant amounts of time that would be tedious to actually play out in real time within scenes. This type of monologue is referred to as linking monologue. Other monologue types include entrance monologues and exit monologues. In each of these cases, a primary function is indicating the passage of time. You've just had your time wasted. You've now experienced what running a cellar in Diablo 4 is like. Cellars are terrible. So I didn't really know where to put this, so I just kind of made a random section for it. But some tooltips in the game are awful at explaining things. You have to find this information by searching around in different areas and trying to piece things together. This needs to be cleaned up. Like, man, the resistance and armor stuff drove me insane. Also, please, for the love of God, make the text on gem drops a different color other than white. I keep thinking they're trash items and leaving. It's so annoying! I want to end this video by reiterating that there's a lot that we don't know about endgame, of course, that could change things, like repetitive dungeons or build variety and depth, but for now, all we can really do is intelligently assume what's to come. Also, a few of the negatives I fully expect will not change, and that's for 2 reasons. First, this game has been heavily pushed to console and as a result has greatly influenced aspects of the PC/final product, such as UI and inventory. But this feeds into the bigger second point, and that is that this game has purposefully been made with a much lower barrier to entry, or elitism, than most other ARPGs on the market. Clearly they want to capture a general market of as many players as possible and have them understand or play the game easily. This can be seen in the basic crafting, console emphasis, shallow talent trees, etc. But perhaps the most important point is that this isn't objectively good or bad. It just depends on what kind of game you want. If you want the same depth of crafting, builds, and items as PoE or Last Epoch, then D4 probably won't fit your bill is my guess. But not everybody wants that level of complexity. In fact, one of PoE's biggest weaknesses is their high barrier to entry. Many people just simply want an experience where they don't need 50 guides to learn tons of interactions, builds, or systems. It should be noted that when a lot of these comparisons, such as crafting, are made, they're made to other ARPGs that exist like PoE, Lost Ark, and Last Epoch. But Diablo's never really been about crazy depth and complexity. After Diablo 2, new ARPGs like PoE set a massive new bar for system complexity, which inevitably many started to compare to. If you've only ever played Diablo or have never even played an ARPG, then there is context missing for reference. Ultimately, pretend it's college, experiment and try things. Like butt stuff. And above all, have fun. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for the full release of Diablo 4, but if in the end there's nothing you really like about it, just remember, at least you can leave trails in the snow. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Because my name's Ted.